in the house. Let's go! Step inside the ring where the legends were made. Independent warriors never looking for fame. Rude boy swinging, Huck calling the shots. Two lifers of the business with the stories that rock. From the sheet breaking heat in the Motor City. Bobo Brazil dropped the hammer, never pretty. Jerry Lawler on the mic, Dusty Rhodes with the soul. Gino Hernandez with that shine and that gold. This is wrestling real talk, no gimmicks, no lies. Real stories from real champions through real lives. Old school, new school, every lane, every block. Detroit wrestling forever, wrestling real talk. From the territories down to today's indie scene. Blood, sweat stories, the things fans never see. Icons, outlaws, legends who never quit. If you lived it or you loved it, this song is for it. Rude boy, A.T. Huck, independent legends, y'all already know. Wrestling real talk, where the truth hits hard. Let's go!
The legends were real. The stories were wilder. And now it's time to talk about it. This is Wrestling Real Talk. And now your hosts, A.T. Huck and Rude Boy.
So yeah, I'm telling you right now, today's topic is crazy. It's well, you know, we left off last time, Huck, from a listener, Sean in Lincoln Park, Michigan, wanted to know what was our favorite venues, good and bad, and in our illustrious careers, and or just venues that we visited. And let's talk about that.
You want me to go first?
I would like for that.
Okay.
Very much, sir.
Well, you know, the obvious one, I'm going to save one for last, which is going to surprise you. But, of course, for me, it's Cobo Arena right here in Detroit.
And that would be one of your favorites.
Best, yes, my favorite. You know, I've been to the Omni in Atlanta. You know, Hera Arena in Dayton, you know, during that time. Cincinnati Gardens. But Cobo Arena had its own unique feel.
Hey, before we go any further, man, hey, we'd like to welcome you guys to Wrestling Real Talk, man. Yes, once again, this is Wrestling Real Talk. I'm going to let you get right back into your story but I mean, it was impolite that we just came out.
Yeah, we just started talking right off the bat.
But go for it.
Yeah. But where was I? You know, getting back to Cobo.
Yes.
That's what represented wrestling on television. That's where the big matches were going to take place. Rarely did they ever advertise wrestling was going to be in Cleveland, you know, or in Dayton. We didn't hear that on TV. It was all about Cobo Arena.
Okay.
And for me, that was the mecca of wrestling as a child growing up, where I saw Bobo Brazil versus the Sheik. You know, the Mighty Igor versus Johnny Valentine, Pompero Firpo against Bobo Brazil, you know, Mark Lewin, Chief J Strongbow, you know, the list goes on. Wild Bull Curry, Flying Fred Curry, Sweet Daddy Siki, Bulldog Brower, Johnny Valentine, Harley Race, the Giant Baba, Terry Funk, Dory Funk.
The half-hour show, right?
That's right, and we said we need to stretch it for a half an hour. so I'm getting into the real deal about why I love Cobo so much. You know, Randy Macho Man Savage, his father, Angelo Poffo and Lanny Poffo, you know, all right there at Cobo Arena.
And, you know, Huck, one of the visions that I always have when I think of Cobo Arena is coming up Washington right there and then seeing the native with his kayak with the fountain,
right,
man,
right.
How beautiful that was.
Right, and just when you walk through the doors, you see the tickets, the ticket booths over there,
yes.
The guy selling the body press programs before you walked into the arena.
You can smell fresh popcorn.
Then you look straight ahead, you see the big American flag.
Oh, yes.
Was there. And it
right
was,
to your left, right as you walk in.
Right. And the match, it was a smoky arena, dark arena, with lights only over the ring, and it just had that big match feel, the old school feel that Cobo Arena had. Well,
for me, one of my favorite venues that I got to I got to wrestle in, and I got to visit. Was well, I didn't actually wrestle, but I did do some managing in. Is the 2300 arena, better known to you and I as the ECW arena.
Yeah.
Now, when you talk about legendary venues, was it one of the nice, prestigious? Not when I was going there.
So
no.
is this the best or worst?
This is the bestest of worst.
The bestest of worstest. Yeah.
And I got to tell you something.
Mine is like that too, but we'll get to that.
This building has so much meaning for me. And, you know, me and my sons, we got to go there and we got to hang out there. And we got actually booed out of there, which was cool, man. And I'm talking about Carlito and Santana. We went on vacation there once, and it was awesome. Anyways, and I got to see some classic battles, the Eliminators. I got to see the original Dudleys.
Yeah.
I got to see, Samu and Fatu.
See, I didn't even know you were going to ECW that much.
Me and Joe Bruce would go every other week because they do it every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And we would get in his Corvette and we would drive the turnpike all the way to Philly, man, every 2 weeks.
I never knew that.
Yes,
never
indeed,
knew that.
man.
You know, the whole time I worked for ECW, you know, close to 3 years, I only worked Philly one time. One time. You know, and I was always surprised at that I never went back to the bingo hall, you know, outside of that one. But I worked everywhere else, man, Florida.
But why?
I don't know. I just never made the trip back. You know, and Paul told me, hey, I want you on all my TV. But I never worked my way back to there. I did TV here in Detroit, you know, a lot of other places, but never back in Philly.
And let me also say this. It was only up until probably 10 years ago. Maybe it might have been 10 years ago, right, Carlito? When we first went to Philly. And it was like 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is that ECW Arena was a shithole.
Mm-hmm.
Really bad. I mean, you go into the bathroom. You go into the bathroom, they didn't even have stalls, bro.
Right.
They didn't have stalls. I mean, but let me tell you something. Some of my fondest, greatest memories of wrestling, even as just going there as a fan and enjoying having a good time with friends, Sabu and Rob Van Dam and Chris Candido and all, you know, was at the ECW Arena, man.
Yeah.
And,
hey,
I was happy that I got to take my kids.
And not to take away from your memory.
Yes, sir.
But my first night at ECW Arena as a referee, I main evented.
Really?
I was in the main event as the
What
main
was the
event
match?
referee.
Tell us the match.
It was the Sandman and Just Incredible in a cane match.
Singapore cane match.
Singapore cane match.
Hey, Huck, did you ever referee at Kobo?
No, unfortunately, I never got to referee at Kobo. I went once when the NWA was there. I went in the back. I told them that I had my ref gear, you know, that I was a referee if they needed me to ref, you know, but they never, you know, put me on or anything, you know.
Yeah.
And I was out there standing with Bulldog Al Thomas and talking to Cactus Jack. He came out and talked to us.
Was that when Denny Cass took the spill off the top?
That was another time.
Oh, my God.
I just went on my own to see if I could get booked.
Why not? You know what, man? Why not? Stranger things have happened.
However,
man.
like I said, ECW Arena, the first match I did was Jerry Lynn and Mikey Whipwreck. Man, and that was fast-paced.
Uh-huh.
And then I did, the Singapore cane match. And I remember New Jack, he was kind of busting on me. He said that people were going to boo me when I came out.
Why?
I don't know. He used to hate on me like that, talk shit. But as I went out, I guess there were people from Detroit there, and they recognized me and they started chanting my name. You know, they said, Huck, Huck. And New Jack was like, his mouth was open.
He didn't like that shit.
And then Nova came down. I guess he had been on some some internet site, and somebody had announced that A.T. Huck was in ECW, and he came. I can't believe they put this on the internet. Just from me walking out that time, in that short of time, it was already on the internet. And Nova saw it and was telling people, look, you know. So that was pretty cool, man.
That is cool, man.
First night and only night there.
And I'm going to take one more on this of one of my favorite venues that I've ever gotten to be in or see wrestling and be a part of is the Azteca Hall on West Verner and Central, right there in the heart of Southwest Detroit. That building right there means so much to wrestling history. People, if you don't know, you should know.
Hey, that's where I made my debut.
Yes.
Azteca Hall, January 12th, 1991. My first night in a wrestling ring was there. You know, my little bit of training with Sweet Daddy was on mats.
Yes,
I never stepped in the ring before that night.
Yes, sir. Let me tell you something. That right there created this force between you and I, because that was the very first night that we ever shared a stage together.
Right.
And
I hadn't met you until that night.
And until that very night we met, and we've been inseparable ever since then. What'd you say, 91, right?
91, yeah.
91, jeez. Oh, my goodness,
January 12th. I have the poster up on my wall.
So do I.
Yeah.
So do I. Well, actually, Santana stole it from me. Yeah, he's got it. That's all right.
Yep, that was and not the best place, but it had a feel. It was an old school building.
But see,
you know what I mean?
But see, one of the things was for me was that
dimly lit.
I had went to see wrestling there probably when you were in college in 81-ish with Chris Carter and Al Costello. They were running shows there regularly.
Yeah, see, I didn't even know about those shows.
Yeah, and they'd bring in George Steele, and we're like, whoa, man, that's a dude from TV, man.
It wasn't Howard.
No, it was George the Animal Steele, and, that was pretty cool. But long story short, so when I actually got a chance and Malcolm said, you're ring announcing tonight, Rude Boy, you got some nice clothes? I said, yes, indeed do, sir. Got myself together. And guess what? Man, that was just the start of this ball right here.
Man, I had that on VHS. Man, that shit is so funny. It's so funny seeing you out there. I think you had on white pants, and you may have had the colors on, green and white, but you came out doing a little dance like. It was pretty funny. It was almost like you were John Travolta like. But it was great. Also on that show, Frantic Frank, was there, his first night in the business as well.
Violent J's
first night
ever in a wrestling ring.
Yeah. I think Rob Van Dam had wrestled already, but that was one of his very first matches.
Very first one. Sabu the Elephant Boy.
Sabu the Elephant Boy.
Tag teamed with Mohammed Jihad Saad. Man, what a tag team. Mohammed
Jihad Saad. Irish Mickey Doyle.
Mickey Doyle was there, man. Denny Cass, of course.
Cass. Of course, Bobo and the Sheik.
Bobo.
How can we leave that out?
Man.
Bobo Brazil and the Sheik.
Man.
Right there at Azteca Hall. And that's where, man, my first night, my first ever main event, the Sheik and Bobo Brazil right there that night. It was a dream come true to me.
Hey, T-Huck, please.
Oh, my God.
I hate to do this. I hate to spoil the fun, but tell me one of the places that you absolutely despised that you went to, or you couldn't stand, or it's the shits, and you wish you never even went there.
Well, there's one place that comes to mind, and I can't even remember the name of the place or the guy who booked it. But it was on the east side of Detroit. And it was like some apartment building, and downstairs they had some little area, and it was all blocked off with cardboard. And I went in there, I was like, man, why are you running here?
Right.
You know, it makes wrestling look bad.
Right.
You know, that was the place that I didn't want to work at.
Right.
You know,
right.
I don't like to work at places like that brings the business down.
Of course.
You know, you're running shows just to run shows, you know, in
Right.
this raggedy looking apartment building, it seemed.
Right.
I didn't like it, you know, and it looked really bad and really cheap.
I'm going to tell you.
But I can't remember the name of the place or the promotion.
I'm going to tell you the place that I hated the most, and I wanted to love it so bad. God, did I want to love it so bad. But it was such a shithole, rat-infested by everyone's admission. It was the Sportatorium in Dallas. Me, Joe, Joey, our whole tour, we went there one day. And man, we're sitting there in this building and you can see the rats running across the top of like
what years was this? This wasn't back when the Von Erichs
No,
were running.
this was with Sabu was still wrestling and he was on tour with us and he said, hey, look, I got a shot to go wrestle at the Sportatorium. You guys mind if we stop here tonight? And we're like, fuck, are you kidding me? That Sportatorium, Sabu live there, you know?
What promote? It was just the indie promotion?
It was an indie promotion at that point. They had
Sportatorium.
maybe 50 people in the building.
Jeez.
It was
But the old Sportatorium, I would have loved to go there.
But me walking in there, I still had that
Still
feeling.
had that feel, right.
But
right.
it was a letdown is what it was.
I
That's
got
what
one
it
for you.
was. Yes, sir.
That was really a horrible place,
Go ahead.
you know, and condemned finally. But the memories that I have there are legendary here in the state of Michigan, and that's the Motor City Sports Club.
Oh, right there on
Grand River.
Grand River.
Yeah,
yes,
where
sir.
Insane Championship Wrestling formed.
Right around the corner from the Redford Theater.
Exactly.
Yes.
That place was horrible, man. You know, it was like an old boxing gym.
Uh-huh.
No ceiling. You know, but the matches that we had there, oh my god.
Legendary.
Oh my god.
Legendary, man.
Right.
Let me tell you something. A who's who
Who's
of
who,
professional wrestling
you know,
on the
came
indie
out of there.
circuit.
Yeah, man. And, you know, Edge and Christian, Rhino, you know, Ian Rotten, Madman Pondo, Bull Payne, you know, oh my God.
Man,
New
come
Jack.
Bruiser Bedlam.
Bruiser Bedlam. You know, just, you know, the guys that were the headbangers.
Headbangers.
You know, all Tex Monroe, Psycho Rick Matrix, just so much that we had.
Man.
in
Los
that-
Rudos.
Los Rudos, you know, in those buildings, man. But the building itself, man,
It
it
was
was
lackluster.
condemned. It was lackluster.
To say the least, it was a
You know, but that was where we had the flaming car.
yes.
You know, Tex and Rick, they set the car on fire.
My God, man. What crazy were we back then, man?
It was, man. Just that was insane championship wrestling. You know, I got to give, you know, worthy mention to the Omni. You know, that was one of my probably my second favorite.
Oh,
would
of
be the
course.
Omni
I
because I
bet.
spent time at the Omni like I spent time at Kobo.
Right.
You know, and I got to see the early matches with Ric Flair as world champion. You know, against the likes of Tony Atlas, Stan Hansen. You know, I saw those matches live.
See, I never got to see wrestling at the Omni. However, I did get to see Van Halen at the Omni.
You got to see Van Halen.
Well-
Oh, man, and they had great concerts there when I was in
Right.
college, too.
You know, and then so me and Joey Shaggy, we went and seen Van Halen at the Omni in Atlanta. That was pretty damn cool.
I
and
remember
it was
Van
the Holy
Halen.
Grail. Even when I
Van
walked
Halen
in
there in the early 80s.
Oh yeah,
Van Halen was at the Omni. You know, like I said, my dorm, I could see the Omni from my campus. You know, it was just such a great thing. And watching Georgia Championship Wrestling and then just walking to the Omni. It was that close. You know, got to see Buzz Sawyer, Tommy Rich. You know, their
hang on, they're buzzing us.
Is it Van Halen or Van Hagar? I just didn't know who you went and saw.
Oh, it was
Van Halen.
it was with Sammy Hagar. So
Oh, I see what he's saying. Yeah.
it was with Sammy Hagar. Yes, indeed, buddy. Indeed, it was. However, I knew I was still in the holy grail of wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
I was in there. I was, man, this is it, man. You know.
Yeah, it was something that was located right there at the CNN Center.
Yes.
And that's where they started doing world news for the first time.
Yes.
Out of the CN Center around that time.
Yes.
And it was when Ted Turner owned it.
He
owned the Omni. And CNN at that time.
Just like you had an honorable mention, I have an honorable mention too of one of the great classic buildings I got to go to wrestling and enjoy wrestling with my sons. Once again, this time it's at the Hare Arena in Dayton, Ohio. Mm-hmm. One of my favorite wrestling venues. Is so compact and so small. It's gone now, unfortunately.
I got to referee at Hare Arena for ECW.
Indeed, you did.
Yep,
Me and Drewski were there.
Yeah,
we were there.
It felt good to actually work in Hare Arena.
Yes.
So that's one of my legendary buildings.
Oh yeah, and later on, I took Carlito and I took Santana to an indie show that they put on there, and they had Vader on it. They had Bret Hart was on it. Sergeant Slaughter, Tracy Smothers, Sabu, blah 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 boom. So, we're there, man, and I'm like, this is the legendary Hare Arena.
Yeah.
And then the sad part is that the show didn't draw nothing but maybe 300 people in that big ass arena. Mm-hmm. So you can imagine.
Another place, man, I know we're going on and on,
yeah.
but there was kind of a shitty place, but it had its aura about it. And I think a lot of workers looked forward to going to work there, and not to put him over, because Ian Rotten's IWA arena.
That place was a shithole.
Yeah. But a lot of great matches.
A lot
came
of
out
great,
of IWA.
A lot. You know what? Listen, everyone knows how I feel about Ian Rotten and the way he's treated fucking workers and wrestlers and fucking friends of mine, by the way. And fuck you for that. However, I would be just a fucking hater if I just sat here and buried him, because also, let's not forget that this guy is responsible for more than a handful of big names that are wrestling right now.
He helped put them on the map.
Indeed.
CM Punk, Colt Cabanas, the Chris Heroes,
Tyler Black,
all, Chris Sabin, Truth Martini, all those guys got to go down and work for Ian Rotten in the IWA.
Yes.
Corporal Robinson, Too Tough, Tony Cashflow.
Yes.
He helped put those guys on the map.
Indeed he did. Was he a piece of shit son of a bitch? Of course he is. And I'll stand by that till the day I die. However, like I said, he was responsible for a lot of good talent that came out that way. Mm-hmm. And,
but it's about the building. It was a shitty building, but it had its aura. It was a destination.
When I went to there, when the few times I went there, I felt dirty in there. I did. I felt dirty. I felt like something evil was happening in this fucking building. I mean that from the bottom of my heart, Huck. I mean that. I just felt like something evil was happening, and then years later we found out there was evil going on in that shit,
Hey, you know what? One of my favorite matches I saw there was Sensational Sherry, and I think it was Debbie Combs.
Wow.
Man, and they fought all over the building, went outside and fought into a pickup truck.
What?
Yeah, man, Sherry was hardcore, man. I was like, whoa, I'd never seen Sensational Sherry go like that.
I would love to have seen that.
They had on like jeans and shit, and they were fighting.
Man, that's what I'm saying, man. I love going
Sensational,
to
Sherry.
shows
That was
like
great. It was great.
Well, listen up, Huck. You know what, man? It's about time that we got to put a bow on this one. We're going to say goodbye. We're going to say goodnight. We're going to say our goodbyes and all the goodnights and all that good stuff. I just said that twice. I know I did. Yes, indeed I did. Yes. However, I'm a little high and I'm a little low. But I get to do this with my bro, the
That's
one and
right,
only
man.
A.T.
I
Huck.
enjoy it so much. We do ramble. We go off on tangents, but it's all about wrestling. We're not talking about anything unrelated. They're all stories that are just coming right off the top of our head because we don't come into this with a script.
No.
Or discuss even what we're going to talk about that much before we come on the air.
Absolutely.
So what you're hearing is genuine, coming right from our hearts and right from our memory banks. Two old men out here talking about their past, their love, their passion, professional wrestling. I'm passionate about professional wrestling still. And I think that's showing, and I want to show more of that. And I want us to be talked about. I want us to be respected. So in 2026, we're going to bring it like never before. International Big Time Wrestling, Wrestling Real Talk, Rocks TV, Cruising the Barrio, everything.
Yes.
2026. I'll see you next time.
Man, from your lips to God's ears, man, praise that. Speak that into existence, brother. Yes, we got so much more to offer you guys. And we're so thankful for you guys each and every week right here, rolling with us. Happiness is what it's all about, y'all. Be happy. Life is good. It truly is. There's always somebody out there who has it worse than you. Don't forget that. Be somebody's blessing. Do something nice for someone. Make somebody happy. Make somebody strong. Thank you for cruising with us. Thank you for rolling with us right here on Wrestling Real Talk. Like I said,
Oops.
look at this guy jumping the gun.
I thought you were getting me the opening.
Like I said,
Let's do it again. Yeah, let's run it back. Isn't that what they say? Run it back.
like I said, and you guys always know this, we're not here for a long time. We are here for a good time. Be good to one another. Take care of one another, especially in these frigid days, you guys. Please check on your people. Do it in a neighborly fashion. Show love to one another. Thank you. Thank you for cruising with us right here, Wrestling Real Talk. We're not here for a long time. We're here for a good time. Be good to one another. Peace.
Peace. Damn, I fucked up. I'm sorry.
It's okay.